Are you a good person who wants to help the poor? You've come to the right place. Liberals are famous for caring for the poor better than anyone else, and they have pioneered 100% effective ways of helping the less fortunate in our midst. Try doing these 10 things, and together we can win the war on poverty in no time. Here's how you do it. Just care a whole lot. The poor people will really feel your caring. The number one thing the perverted need in their lives. Vote for politicians who care about the poor. Look, politicians who care about the poor always follow through and do something about it. Next, hate billionaires. For every billionaire you hate, 12 hungry mouths get fed. That's basic economics. Vote to raise taxes on other people so they will pay their fair share. It's the least that other people could do.
Right.
If that doesn't work, vote to raise taxes on other people a little more than last time, so they will pay their even fairer share. One more tax increase should eliminate poverty for good. Leave your Bernie Sanders for President bumper sticker on your Subaru for one more year. You'll inspire hundreds. Hate millionaires. Yeah, come to think of it, they suck too. Ask the government to send more money to Ukraine. We heard they even have poor people there. Use the poor's preferred pronouns. A simple gesture will go a long way. Sing John Lennon's Imagine to the homeless as you drive by, and then post your performance on TikTok to multiply the poverty-smashing power.
Yeah.
Imagine, no pores. So share this with your friends and take a bite out of poverty.
Those are 10 significant ways to help the poor. Raise taxes on everybody else. Care more. Sympathy vote. Hate billionaires. Billionaires are awful, apparently. Just inherently awful. You know what's funny is like when I hear people out here hate a billionaire, I've never understood that concept. But all it does, when you realize, when you see people who hate something, what you're really kind of getting a glimpse into is what they envy, in a way, right? And with a lot of people who hate billionaires, it seems as though it's like you just wish it was you, right? And I get it. And you're a better person than them, and you would spend that money properly. But it's not true, right? But people love to think that they're morally better than people with more money. You know, it's interesting because like people think like because I'm a good person, I should have more money. And that's just not true. You know, they're not, they don't even go together. Really. They don't. Like as the older I get, that has become blatantly obvious, is those two just don't go together. Like understanding money and being a good person, just they don't go together. They can complement each other, you know. Like if you've got good character, you can make better decisions that could potentially put you into situations that are better financially for you. But really when it comes to money, that's an entirely different game. And it is a game, you know, to create money through business. And I think a lot of people think that they think it's easier than what it is, and thus they don't respect people with a lot of money, like billionaires. I could be wrong, but there's just something about that. Every time I have somebody like, because out here in LA, like a lot of people really will voice their opinion on their hatred of billionaires. And it always comes out the same way. It's like they're just spending all that money on this and they're spending all this money on that. And then if you talk to them a little bit more, they just wish they had that money. So, and then there's this idea that's obviously not fleshed out, that if they did have that money, they would just spend it on poor people. They would just give it to the impoverished. They would clean up the streets, or they would get homeless people off the streets. That's such a convoluted task to do, to end poverty. Like, where would you start? Like, all right, let's do a thought experiment. All right, I'm homeless. I meet a homeless man. Okay? And I want to help him make money, right? To be financially independent, right? Because he's not financially independent right now. He's homeless. He has no ability to or no access to finances. He doesn't have a house. He's homeless. Okay, so what do you say? Well, you get to know the person, right? Is he capable of having a conversation? No, let's say he's got some mental health issues. Okay, so what do you do to fix that, right? Maybe you get him on medication. Psychiatric medication. Okay. All right, then what? Well, eventually he's got to get a job, right? Well, how does he get a job? You have to have skills, right? You have to have a resume. You have to have had some type of education. Does he have the education? And all this is all based on these antidepressants working, by the way, right? And that's not a given here, okay? I think we all know people on antidepressants, and they don't really solve the problem of what they're dealing with, what's causing their depression, what's causing their anxiety, and what's causing their bipolar episodes. And it doesn't reconcile their trauma that they experienced when they were younger that has caused all this stuff. Okay, that doesn't actually always happen. Actually, it doesn't happen, right? So, but we're just playing along saying this helps. Okay, so now we got to educate the person. Okay, well he's 40 years old. He's 40 years old. Okay, cool. No education. All right, so in the meantime, he's got to work minimum wage, right? Maybe he's got a GED. Okay, he's got a GED. He's got a high school diploma or whatever. So he can work at McDonald's. He can work at a fast food spot, Taco Bell. Okay, so we get him a job at McDonald's. Okay. To pay for his own place to stay, right? He's got to work a ton of hours to afford a place to stay on a minimum wage job like that, right? Because he can't get a higher paying job because he has no education, he has no skills, right? So he's working at least 40 hours a week. Okay, just 40 hours a week, probably more. I don't know what the math is on this. What's minimum wage? Let's see here. Minimum wage in California. Okay, minimum wage is $15.50. So let's do this. $15.50 times 40 hours. Okay, that's $620 a week. Times 4 is $24.80. Okay, let's say he finds a studio apartment out here in LA for $1,000. Minus $1,000. Okay, so he's got $14.80 left. I don't know why I had to do the math on the calculator for that. he's got $1,480 left. Okay, he's got to get food. That's probably $300 a month. $300. Okay. So that's 180. And he's got to pay all kinds of bills, so maybe $200 off a month for utilities. So that's $980. And then if he's got a car, well, he doesn't have a car, so he's paying for public transit, right? I don't know if that's free. I guess it's free to a certain extent, maybe. I don't know. So he's got $980 left over. But there's all kinds of other expenses. He's got insurance he needs to pay for, right? It's not that much left over. Okay? So, but to really make him like independent, financially independent, he'd have to progress from the McDonald's job to a job that pays more, right? So how are you going to do that? Well, he needs more time, right? So you need way more time. If you're working 40 hours a week, it's going to be tough. You can do it, but it's going to be tough. But does he have the skills necessary to put the time in to do that? Probably not. Probably not at all. Like, he's been homeless for I don't know how many years. He's battled with depression. And now he's living on his own in a box, in a studio apartment. Is that healthy? Is that always healthy, especially for somebody who's struggling with mental health issues? Probably not. So like, what are you going to do? You're stuck because he doesn't have the habits to continue his education on his own. He's still suffering from mental health issues that have just been band-aided by pharmaceutical drugs. And now he's all alone in a studio apartment. Maybe he doesn't have any family or friends. So, I mean, that's a very difficult thing to do, is to help somebody, pull them out of homelessness, right? It's not just money, because you want that person to be able to take care of themselves. Anyways, plus, how many times have you tried to help somebody in your own life and you've been completely unsuccessful? Like come at me with like something that you've done for someone else. You know what I mean? Like, if you have you helped other people, like friends of yours or family members of yours, and helped them improve their life financially, educationally, right? Skill set wise, mentality wise, like, what have you done for other people? Don't tell me that if you were a billionaire, you would fix all these things, when you don't do anything for the people in your own life. Anyways, that was a long rant, but I'm done.